Hello, and thanks for joining us for another exciting episode of Inventor's Quick Tips. Today we are talking about search techniques, and we're going to cover different types of searches, the benefits of conducting a search, and free resources where you can do some of your own patent searching. So there are three types of search. We'll be focusing on the middle one, but I want to briefly introduce each type here. So first we'll start with the landscape. The landscape search is a general search to see what is out there in a particular field. This is the most generic type of search, and it is used when it is desired to see the current state of development in a particular field. We won't spend too much more time talking about this type of search, but I wanted to introduce you to the term. For the bulk of this video, we'll be discussing the patentability search. This is the type of search that is used when you have a specific invention or concept in mind, and you want to know if there is anything out there that is similar to your invention. The key thing I want to stress here is that the patentability search finds things that can keep you from getting an issued patent, but it typically does not include a freedom to operate effort, which we will introduce next. So the freedom to operate search performs an analysis of the likelihood of infringing an in-force patent with your product or service. This type of analysis is very time-consuming, and therefore it can be very expensive. For that reason, this type of search is not performed as often as the patentability search. We won't be talking much more about this type of search in this video, but the point I want to make here is that there is a difference between patentability and freedom to operate. For an individual or small company considering filing a patent application, the patentability search might be a good first step, and that's what we're going to talk about next. So what do we search for? Prior art, which is a term for things that currently or previously existed, is the term for the things that we search for. It can include patents and patent applications, other printed publications such as newspapers and magazines, websites, and existing products. Note that there is no limit to the age of the prior art, so a magazine article from 90 years ago can be prior art against your invention. Another thing to point out is that the prior art does not have to be a product. So you might search the shelves at Walmart and search Amazon and conclude that no product exists that includes your idea. But for the purposes of getting a patent, that really doesn't matter. If a prior art written description that includes your idea exists in the form of a patent or an article, then that can preclude you from getting a patent on your idea. This is why a patentability search is often a good first step in exploring the feasibility of an idea. For example, if someone is thinking to start a business based on a product or service, and he or she is considering filing patents on the product, then before going through all that expense, it might be helpful to get an idea of what is out there that could possibly prevent getting a patent to issue. As you may recall, when you file a patent application, the patent office will be doing their own prior art search. So the idea here is if we can know ahead of time what kind of prior art exists, it might put us in a better position to be successful in getting a patent to issue, or have us come to the decision that it's not worth pursuing this idea based on what else is out there. So why do a patentability search? Number one is that it is relatively cheap compared to the cost for filing a regular patent application. So you might spend several $1,000s to file a regular patent application, whereas you might spend 1/10 of that to do a patentability search or have one done for you. So for a low cost, you can at least get some idea of if it is worth pursuing or not. Another advantage is that you can learn about the state of the art in your field. So you learn about what's going on and how other people are solving the problem that you're trying to solve by studying the patents and patent applications that turn up in your search. Another advantage, if you do this before you file your regular application, is that you have the opportunity to make adjustments. So, for example, if you see that the prior art shows that people did something a certain way, you could focus on what you didn't see in the search and bolster that part in your patent application. For the last bullet item, it is important to realize that there is no guarantee that a search report is complete. That is, you can never be sure that you found each and every relevant reference. For one, in most countries, applications might be kept secret for 6 to 18 months before being published, so there is always a chance that relevant prior art is not showing up in any searches. Also, patents and patent applications can be misclassified or not classified the way you would expect, and so the search report of a patentability search should be treated as a best effort or due diligence, but not a 100% guarantee that all relevant prior art has been located. You might want to try doing a little bit of searching on your own. Even if you end up hiring someone to do a professional search, there are a lot of free resources out there. So these two websites here, the Google.com patents and the United States Patent and Trademark Office website, are good starting points. To illustrate how this might work, if you just want to do some poking around, we're going to discuss a hypothetical example. So suppose that I invented a razor that keeps track of razor blade usage using a Bluetooth-enabled razor. The razor sends results to a computer via Bluetooth, which then puts them on a server. I plan to make a phone app so I can track my razor blade usage from anywhere in the world using my phone. So that's my overall concept. And before I go through the expense of filing a patent application, I want to know what else is out there along these lines. Where to search? Well, here's how I recommend people start if they want to start investigating themselves. I like to start with the Google link that I previously provided. I enter my search query using the keywords that I've made for my invention: razor, blade, usage, and Bluetooth. These are keywords that I think sum up the essence of my invention. I get some results, as you see here, and now I'm going to select the first result, smart razor handle, for a closer look. So here, once I click on the reference, I get the abstract, which is a summary of the invention that you find in most modern patents and patent applications. Take note of the title and publication number here circled in blue. Each patent or patent application has a number associated with it. This number can be used to retrieve the corresponding document in text or PDF form from this website. Another thing to take note of is the references and classification section, which is circled in red. Now let's select this link here in red for a closer look. Here you see some additional patents and patent applications. These references can be of use to you and may be relevant to your invention. So always take a look at these lists and see if any of these references listed here bear resemblance to your idea. Now let's take a look at the classification section. The classifications are sort of like the Dewey Decimal System in the library. They are a way to categorize inventions. When you identify relevant categories, you can search based on category. In addition to searching with keywords, there are some advantages to searching with classifications, which we will describe shortly. Here we see a classification for razors. The main class, as you can see up top, is class 30 for cutlery. And then we see there is a subclass 32 for razors. And then there is a subclass below that, 34.05, for razors combined with other things. So as you can see, there are many classes and subclasses. Now note that a patent or patent application can be classified with multiple classifications. So now let's return once again to the keywords for a bit. When performing a search, it is good to identify alternate keywords. You might consult a thesaurus to help you with this. In our case, my original keyword was razor. How else can we describe razor? What other terms can we use? I've listed a few examples here. To do a thorough search, I would perform multiple keyword searches using the alternate keywords in various combinations. Now let's go back to the classifications once again. As you can now appreciate, there is often more than one set of words to describe something, and so there is always a chance that a relevant reference can be missed because your keywords were not included in that reference. However, if you identified relevant classifications, you can also search by classification. When you search by classification, you can perform a search based on that classification regardless of the words used to describe the references. In this way, you may catch additional relevant references. Thus, a good search will use both keywords and classifications. Note that there is both a U.S. classification system and an international classification system. The numbers and categories are different, but the concept is the same. The international system will work with the European Patent Office website, which I will show in an upcoming slide. So here is how you can do a classification-based search using the U.S. Patent Office website. Note that you'll want to search both red and green. For, let's say, legacy reasons, the United States Patent Office separates its patents and patent applications into two separate search areas. The patents are in red and the applications are in green. Most other sites combine the patents and applications so you get both in one search form, but the United States Patent Trademark Office does it this way. Won't get into why it does it this way, but suffice it to say that when you're searching, you'll want to search both in red and in green. It's really the same search, just done from two different places. So let's take a look at how to enter a classification. So here I put the classification that I found in my Google search, 30/34.05, you see in red on the left, and then from the drop-down box I'll select current U.S. classification. Then I'll hit the search button there on the bottom and I get a list of results. As you can see, circled in red, there's 142 results and 50 per page are displayed. So here, I haven't used any keywords to get these references. This is just based on saying, give me everything in class 30/3405. Now, take note of the seventh reference. If you look at the title, hair removal apparatus, it doesn't have any of my keywords in it that I previously listed. But with this classification search, I catch it. So here you can see the advantage of using classifications in addition to using keywords. There are more advanced techniques that we won't get into detail here, but these are things you can explore further. For example, you can limit search terms to particular application parts, such as searching in the abstract only or title only. I rarely use searching in the title only, but I find that searching in the abstract only can sometimes narrow the list when searching the entire text gives too many irrelevant results. So when you put in search terms and you get thousands and thousands of results, that's not really practical for going through. Sometimes then, if you search only in the abstract, you can narrow the results. You can also use word stemming, so you search basically based on word roots, and all suffixes are picked up. Some sites let you do word proximity. For example, if I'm searching for an electric razor, I can specify to show me results where the word electric is within 10 words of the word razor, for example. When words are close together, it can sometimes be an indication of relevance. So these are some advanced tools that exist. And for those wishing to explore more, check out these references. The SpaceNet, which you can Google to get to that link, gives you many European references. The SpaceNet is the European Patent Office website. And Free Patents Online, where I've included the link here below, freepatentsonline.com, has forms for advanced searching. So you can do things like the word stemming and the proximity that I mentioned before. There's even some README pages on how the syntax of how to do these searches. You can also do these kinds of searches, at least some of them, in the U.S. Patent Office website. So hopefully now you have a better idea of how to at least do some initial research for finding prior art. So I hope that's helpful for you. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time on Inventor's Quick Tips.